What the hell is going on in this country? You may not understand. People coming up to me asking me questions. The political world. We see what's on news. We see what's on Fox News and CNN, etc., etc. And the term is deep state. What does the deep state mean? What is the deep state? Okay, yeah. Well, welcome back here to Gallagher's Grip. Coming to you live from the kick-ass studio here in the south side of Chicago, being the voice for the American people, trying to speak the truth, speak the facts, and speak the reality while simultaneously educating and having you guys understand, or at least try to understand, what the hell is going on in this country. I can tell you that right now. Look, there's several things that I do, many episodes I do, again, for a million different reasons, but I have people coming up to me asking me questions about what things are. And when you listen to the news, when you hear that these political leaders, or any leader for that matter of fact, actually say terms that you may not understand. You see, I believe that a lot of people out there do not understand a lot that revolves around the political arena, the political world. We see what's on news. We see what's on Fox News and CNN, etc., etc. And we listen and we decipher between what's real and not, or at least try to. But there is a term that keeps on coming up in my world here, and the term is deep state. I've got younger kids coming up to me and asking me, you know what, Mr. Gallagher, what does the deep state mean? Where did that term come from? What is the deep state? When you hear political leaders behind the podium saying, well, it's the deep state that's causing the problem. Lately, you hear President Trump saying it's the deep state that has caused this, that, the other thing. And though I, in this particular case, completely agree with him, let's back up for the sake of understanding exactly what the heck that means, the deep state. Let me read this verbatim. The term deep state refers to a concept that suggests the existence of a shadowy, secretive network of government officials, military leaders, intelligence agencies, and other powerful entities that operate independently of elected officials or public institutions. Okay? According to those who believe in the idea of the deep state, this network influences or controls government policies and decisions behind the scenes, often working against the interests of the public and or elected officials. While the, quote, deep state is a term that has gained significant attention in recent years, especially in the political discourse, it is widely seen as a conspiracy theory, and there is little concrete evidence to support its existence in the way it's actually portrayed. Some people use it as a term to complain against the political parties such as the Democratic parties, the deep southern state, the deep state of democracy, the Democrats of democracy. It is important to differentiate between legitimate concerns about government outreach, overreach, corruption, and a concentration of power. So what is the deep state? What does it mean? You know, it refers to an idea that there is a hidden elected group, or a hidden unelected group of people that are basically behind the scenes running the show. That's what this really means, the term deep state. I've got 12-year-old kids, 9-year-old kids, 15-year-old kids. Mr. Gallagher, what does it mean? Nobody, you hear it on TV, but what does it truly mean? You've got elected officials in every single state, and there are so many divisions of the definition of what an elected official is across the United States of America, whether it be at the federal level, whether it be at the state level, whether it be at the city, county level, etc. You've got a whole host of elected officials out there. At the federal level, at the federal level, okay, you have got real leaders that are voted in by American citizens, i.e., an election. And the reality is, no matter what party that you are on, whether it be the Republican and or Democratic Party, how can you not believe, speaking openly here, ladies and gentlemen, how could you not believe that there is not the term a deep state that actually is in existence and a reality lurking behind the scenes here? I have an idea. Could you imagine being a owner, a CEO, or a donor of a multi-billion dollar company, a multi-billion dollar company, and you are in the background trying to figure out the political landscape because you have got what is referred to as a large checkbook and you are a sought after donor, right? You're a donor to that political party, right? Well, I'll tell you what, if a donor will write you a check for $100 million, $10 million, 25, 30, 50 million dollars as a donor who agrees with the policies, procedures, and belief of what party they are choosing to back up, that's a very interesting thing. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to envision this. Envision that you are applying for a job. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter what job, doesn't matter what title. And your sign-on bonus is $25 million. $50 million. And you could come work here, sir, ma'am. However, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to say. This is how I want you to skirt around this policy or that policy for the benefit of my company. Let me tell you something. I'll give you a check for $25 million, $50 million, $100 million. No problem. I'll give you a check. No problem. But I want you to make sure that A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are followed. And don't you dare go against me, sir. Don't you dare. It's called the world of donors. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just a thing. Because at the end of the day, if you are running for political office, you need a ton of cash to actually advertise your campaign. Very common, very standard. The campaign goes out and brings in the donors. In reference to the deep state, such as, let's use an example of President Donald Trump. When President Donald Trump refers to the deep state, he's referring to, I believe, all of the people behind the scenes that are basically in a huge controlling position with regards to the people that they put into office. And in his case, he is referring to the Democrats of the United States of America and all those people behind the scenes that are donors of the Democratic Party. That's what I believe he's referring to, the deep state of the United States. You'll hear him say terms like, well, it's the deep state fault. There's no doubt about it. Where the deep state is actually stopping this from happening. The deep state, the southern states, the concept of a underground, behind the scenes, I'm not going to say the word criminal operation at any level, but I am going to say a group of incredibly wealthy, shockingly powerful people who control the media, who control what people hear and what people do not hear. That is what he's referring to, I believe, when he says the deep state. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to media here in the United States of America, it's not rocket science that we're having a hard time actually getting the real truth. I mean, when you actually analyze some of these platforms here, I'm a big Fox News man. I love Fox News. I think Fox News is one of the very few networks I can watch and actually leave and say, I do agree with what he's saying or she's saying. I get it. I believe that they're honest. I believe that they're open as in a CNN, which I think is absolutely lunacy. There is a censorship, and there are people behind the scenes, as we all know, because Americans are not stupid. Americans are very smart. As I've always said, behind the scenes, there are things going on that the the American people do not get to hear. I understand that the American people should not hear very, very serious scenarios at the federal level. I understand things of that nature when it comes to public safety, public health, or whatever the case may be to protect the American people. But, it's very interesting to me because you've got certain words you cannot say on public platforms. You've got certain things that just get washed aside, certain topics that you release that just get washed aside. And I believe that it's the deep old state that actually analyzes that and controls that. You got all these algorithms out there, and these algorithms are they're designed to make sure that they go in and they identify a certain word or a certain topic or a certain comment in which you cannot advertise with those algorithms, and they will shut you down, baby. They'll shut you down. What about a network? What about a news network where when you watch it as an American citizen, you're going to watch this network and say, God damn, these guys are brutally honest. This is brutally true, with no filters. No outside party coming in and saying, I'll back you up there, buddy, but you got to say this, and don't you dare say that. I understand that if you are a part of a party, a political party, okay, you want to see your team win. Just like in baseball, basketball, football, you want to see your team win. No doubt about it. Your Republican Party, you want to see them win. Democratic Party, you want to see them win. I fully understand that. What about a media source? What about a media concept, a media source where you know that when you log on, when you see it, when you listen, you can honestly in your heart determine that it's the truth and what you're actually hearing is the truth. And I don't know what news networks everybody watching the Gallagher's Grip podcast / show is watching, but I can tell you I am a big Fox News guy. I like Fox News for a million reasons. And I think that, perhaps it's because, I lean more toward the Republican side than most, but I enjoy Fox News. What about that, ladies and gentlemen? What about that? A wonderful network, a media network. Imagine this, where when you have time in your crazy, busy, chaotic, lunatistic day, okay, because that's what Americans deal with every single day, when you actually have time to click on the TV and give it a little listen. Just give it a little listen while you're driving to work, driving to a game, driving here, driving there, whatever the case be, when you actually have time. Wouldn't it be great to hear the truth? Wouldn't it be great to hear the reality? No Spin Media Network. How about that? Maybe that's what we should call the Gallagher's Grip Media Company. No Spin Gallagher's Grip, right? Which talks about all different kinds of topics on both sides of the aisle, being completely objective on behalf of the benefit of the American people. That is what I think is absolutely needed here in this great country that we are lucky enough to live in. The deep state. What do you think the deep state is? What does the deep state mean to you? I personally think the deep state is alive, well, breathing, with a heartbeat that is right on track, behind the scenes lurking, behind the scenes watching, behind the scenes controlling. Because look, I hate to say this on an open platform, but let's be brutal here for a second. He who has the ability to stroke the pen and sign that check that goes to you probably is looked at a little differently than he who doesn't. You have got a man over here that's got $5,000 to be able to donate to your campaign, and you've got a man / company / trust / organization over here that can actually cut a check for $50 million. Now, I ask you this question. If the phone rings and you had two phones sitting right here on your desk, two phones, one is red, the other one is red, doesn't matter, and you hear the phone ringing, what one are you going to pick up first? That is America. And you get a little sidetracked here because does every single thing have to be about money in America? Does every little thing have to be about money and currency? And how much money does this guy have? How much money does that girl have? How much money does that company have? I don't know, but they're very, very, very successful. Let's go after that company. It is the United States of America. The deep state exists. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I believe that the deep states got so much control that when your president, Donald Trump, actually won the election, they went berserk. They went berserko. They went berserk. The man fought and fought and fought, was sued, was ridiculed, was criminalized, was oh my God. I mean, when you actually take a step back and you think about what President Trump went through, it's shocking. It's unbelievable. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of utter hell to try to destroy a man, to try to rip a man apart. You were president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump. Well, guess what? You're not a president anymore. We're coming after you with everything we got. And who came after him? The Democrats, the deep state behind the scenes went after that man, his organization, his kids, his grandkids, et cetera, to try to destroy him. Why? Why did they go after him? Was he that bad of a president? We all know the answer is God, no. Was he that bad? I don't think he was that bad. I think he's great. I think he will go down in history as one of the best presidents that this world has ever seen, ever. And for those of you who disagree, I'm sure you're going to hammer me on your comments. But at the end of the day, look at what he's doing. It is unbelievable what the man is doing. We wake up and we actually, on a Saturday have a cup of coffee, maybe got a soccer game with our kids. We maybe on the way home from soccer, we go wash our car and do some housework. This man is stopping wars across the world. Not one war, not two war. Keep on counting because he's stopping wars, plural. He is doing an unbelievable, indescribable, shockingly amazing job on behalf of the American people. Why would the deep state want to stop that progress? Why would the deep state want to be the group, the underground group, if it exists? Why would the deep state want to stop such incredible progress on a country that's one of the best country in the world? Why? See, I always ask the question, why? I say the word why, really. Why would they do that? Is it special interests? Look, to the American citizens that watch Gallagher's Grip, we are normal, average folks, okay? We are law-abiding, normal, average American citizens, okay? And we wake up and we try to live a life to the best of our ability to provide for our kids, whether you're a mother, a father, a man, or a woman. We wake up and we try to enjoy our lives. And for most American citizens, if you are a plumber, if you are an electrician, if you own a company, you're so consumed with trying to make that business work that you're really not spending much time thinking about all the high level stuff that exists or what's going on. You watch you watch the news, you get plugged in every now and then, but my Lord, when you have kids, good luck, because in most cases you're watching cartoons. My point is that you're so focused on your life that you really don't see what's going on at the helm in a lot of cases. The deep state, the good old deep state. And I'm not talking about the states that record country music. I'm talking about the South. I'm talking about the deep state. I'm talking about the word Democrat. Democratic states. Democratic deep states. The underground world that they, not me, that they refer to as the underground world that controls things behind the scenes, the ones with the real cash, the ones with the real money. Let me ask you this, okay? When you're on social media and you really flip through, if you have the time, and you see these for instance, let's use Monaco, okay? When you actually, see a social media TikTok, a YouTube, etc. highlight of Monaco, and you see the yacht party going on in Monaco. Some of these yachts actually have basketball courts on the front of the boat. These are not insignificant pieces of equipment. These are 30, 40, 80, 100, 200, 500, in some cases over $1 billion. $1 billion boats that people are out just, having fun on, enjoying the sun, put some sunscreen on, a little bit of tan, and God bless them for getting there. I'm not against them getting there. What do these people do? Who are these people? What do they own? How do they do it? It's very interesting, to me. But the average American citizen does not have that. And the average American citizen, is focused on their life to try to make their life click, to try to make their life continue to move forward, right? The deep state. What is the deep state in your opinion? What does the deep state mean to you? You hear all kinds of people having all different kinds of references to the deep state. And as I do my daily grips here, I educate myself. I really make sure that I have at least a solid idea of what my topics are, based upon all different kinds of sources. But I actually ask you, the American citizens, what do you think the definition of the deep state is? How does it affect you? Does it affect you? And who do you think represents the deep state?